Hey, what is going on, everyone? Devin up here, and I just got done with all my stuff for the day, and I wanted to make this video talking about the triangle reason why real estate wholesaling works. And I'm not the person that came up with this, nor is it, I think, how it's called. But I heard this a lot from one of my mentors, and I wanted to share it with you guys, kind of like help you understand why wholesaling is able to work the way that it does, and why it's not just some sort of way of just kind of cheating people out of selling a house at a deep discount, because that's definitely not what it is. And it definitely appears that way. Like, why on earth would someone sell their house at such a low price and let us make so much money? But it all makes so much sense, and it helps us out more as a real estate wholesaler, understanding this sort of, not necessarily process, but reason why it works. And so how it works, when you're selling a house in real estate, you have three different ways of going about selling this house. And actually, let me move this mic over here. But basically, at the end of the day, you could either list it with the realtor, list it on the market, or you can sell it yourself. FSBO is what this is usually called, for sale by owner. Or you could sell it for cash to some sort of investor or a real estate wholesaler. And that's obviously the category that we fit into. So the first thing, as a real estate wholesaler, or let me add this too. Let me preface it with this. So when you're selling it, when you have all these different options, you can only choose two, and this kind of indicates where at on this triangle that you exist at. So you can either have time, you can either sell it in a quick and effective manner, you can either get the most for your property, or you can also have the option of what's the word the convenience factor. Sorry, I'm just thinking as I'm going about this process. So you can either have the time, the convenience, and the money, but you can only choose two. So based off of what you choose in these two circumstances depicts where you're going to sell it out of these three options. With the realtor, you're selling it yourself, or you're selling it to an investor. So if you are selling it with a realtor, you're going to get the most for your property that's possible. On top of that, you're going to have a convenience factor, because you're not going to have to do anything to sell this house other than sign some contracts. And I mean, if it needs a decent amount of repairs, obviously you'll probably have to get that fixed, but you can get that all fixed and whatnot. But for the most part, for most people, you get the convenience factor and you get the most money for your property. And then the only thing that's missing out of this is that you're not getting the time factor, because on average, like, let's say that everything goes as fast as possible. It's going to take at least 30 days to sell your house. And this is saying that the property is on the house, well, the house is on the market for only 1 day. So it's going to take you 30 days, because escrow usually takes 30 days for this house to close. That's obviously not the quickest way to sell a house. Now, the other factor as well is, if you're selling it as a FSBO, you will have the factor of time, because you can sell it pretty quickly if you know what you're doing. And on top of that, you'll get the most money for your property. But the only thing is this is very inconvenient, because you'll have to either A, already know the connections, or work pretty hard to do the marketing. Whereas if you sell with the realtor, they'll do all the marketing for you. They'll take all the pictures, they'll get everything done, they'll show the house, they'll do everything for you. Whereas if you're doing FSBO, then you got to do all of that yourself. So obviously the convenience factor is out the door. And on top of that, most people actually don't really know how to market their house, so it's a little bit of an issue as well. Now, as the third point inside of here, selling it to a cash buyer, an investor, or a real estate wholesaler, you get the time factor, because you can close it pretty quickly. And then on top of that, you get the convenience factor, because we are doing everything. We buy it as is. And as is means we're buying it how it is. You don't have to get it fixed up. You don't have to go through this whole process of making sure that it looks good for a buyer. So it's super convenient. It's all said and done pretty quickly. The only thing that they're missing is the money side. Like I said, you only get to choose two. So some people inside the market, usually we're working with like 5% of people that are interested in selling their house, which is, these are kind of like the numbers that I've came across, is what a lot of other real estate wholesalers have came across, is 5% of the people selling their house kind of fit into this category. So what we're doing is we're just kind of filling this position in this kind of triangle of how to sell your house, and we're filling in this position of helping them out this way. Yeah, obviously we're not a realtor, we're not listing the house, and we're not doing everything for them and getting them for the most of their property, but we're helping them out in another way. Some people fit this category as a motivated seller. So they have a reason to sell their house at a decently quickly pace. Maybe they have some bills that are due that they just straight up can't afford anymore, or they need to get out of town as soon as possible, they got work going on, or there's just so many headaches that goes along with trying to fix up their house. There's a lot of different reasons. But we're trying to find these people that are motivated, and what we're doing is we're just filling this void of marketing towards finding people that are interested in selling their house at a deep discount. Now, obviously, real estate investors can go out there and do this themselves. If they're a cash buyer, they can go out there, find houses at a discount, and buy them themselves. But part of the problem with that as well is, first of all, majority of real estate investors, they only have so much time on their hands to be able to do that. They only have so much capital. They're not financing too many deals, so most of their capital gets tied up after 1 or 2 deals, unless they're a really big cash buyer and trying to find every deal possible. But most of those people that are buying every deal possible, they need deals to fuel their business to be able to make more money and be able to flip more houses. So that's where a real estate wholesaler comes into place, and we are kind of filling that void of doing the marketing for these investors and finding these discounted properties, finding these 5% of people trying to sell their house with a convenience factor and a time factor necessary in order to sell it. And we're kind of filling that void and making the money in the middle. So if you really need to explain wholesaling as a business, this is probably one of the best ways to explain it, with kind of like the most logical way to explain it as a beginner. But at the end of the day, this is what we do. This is how we are helping sellers out. So if you are ever in the situation of kind of understanding, like let's say that you're meeting up with a seller, what I really recommend is showing them these 2 other outcomes. You can either sell it yourself, you can sell it with the realtor, or if they really want to, they can just rent it out, become a landlord, and be able to make passive income that way. Hire a property manager if it's too much work. And what I do is I give everybody all of these options. I explain it to them. Hey, you have this option, you have this option, and then I'm kind of like the last case scenario. I want to make sure that they have the best situation possible for themselves to be able to sell this house. And I want to help other people out. So what I'm doing at the end of the day is I'm really just helping people out. I'm helping them make this decision. Maybe you can call me a consultant as a real estate wholesaler. Maybe that's what we are. We're just consultants, but we also have this practice of being able to help them out of their situation if they fit this space that's available. And so what we're doing is we're finding all these people and eliminating them based off of their circumstances. Oh, you have all the time in the world? Oh, you don't mind putting in all the work selling your house? Okay, cool. Let's help you out with this way. Or you want to get the most money possible? Let's help you out this way. Whatever the circumstances may be, just try to help people out and try to fill out all these different circumstances. And then at the end of the day, if they need the circumstances for a cash buyer or a real estate investor or a wholesaler, then that's where our place is. And at the end of the day, it's eliminating these people. So we spend less time talking to these other group of people and spend all of our time focusing on the 5% of people that are a motivated seller. So if you have any sort of question, if you ever get into a position where you're kind of stuck, at least as far as helping a seller out and what you need to do next, just really look maybe you can even draw this out on a whiteboard or a notepad and just look at this triangle and just understand that, hey, I need to be focusing on trying to help people out that need their house sold in a timely manner, and they need the convenience of me buying their house. And that'll kind of help you out. That'll kind of give you a little bit of a North Star kind of direction, helping you out and figuring out what the next step is. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully this will help you out a little bit. Like I said, I'm not the first person to come up with this, but I've talked about a couple of my videos and I figured this would be a good video of itself. So anyways, if you haven't already, join the fam, join the gang by hitting the subscribe button down below. Really appreciate that. And like always, make sure to smash that like button down below. But anyways, like always, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.